So here's another St Vincent lesson. We're on the Actor album at the moment, and this is the song called Strangers. It's kind of a jazzy song to play. It's got a lot of finger-picked chords and also some kind of finger-picked arpeggios and things like that. Some of it's quite difficult, so I kind of rate this as an intermediate piece. If you want to have a go at it, it's a great song to play. So we'll start off by taking a look at the introduction. So it goes something like this. So as you can see, some of the jazz arpeggios I was talking about there. So you're starting off by barring the 7th fret, and then using your ring finger, you're on the 9th fret of the high E, and then adding your little finger onto the 10th. That's your first sort of position. Your second one is going like this. So that's barring the 9th, and then having your little finger starting off on the high E, 12th fret, and pulling off. The next position is barring on the 5th, but then you're going to have your ring finger already on the 7th fret of the high E. And then you're going to use your little finger first to go on the 8th, and then the 10th, stretching up. Then the next position, you're barring the 3rd and using your ring finger, the 5th fret of the high E, and then you're pulling off and then playing the B and then the G strings, which should be barred on 3rd. Then the next position is this. So that's the 6th, barring on the 6th, but with your ring finger on the 8th high E, pulling off, and then adding the 8th on the B and then the 10th. So that's the whole introduction. After that it moves into some chords. I'll show you the general position and then I'll play them all together and you can try and play along. So it's this kind of shape. So you're barring the first chord, you're barring the 10th fret, and then your middle finger is on G string 11th and your ring finger 12th fret on the D. And you're always going to be picking the low E, followed by the D, followed by the G, back to the D. Just repeating that phrase over and over again. So that's your first position. The next one is the same position on the 5th fret. Then you're moving down just with your second finger on the 2nd fret of the D, then back to the 5th fret, then moving down to the 3rd, then the 2nd fret position again, 3rd again, and back up to the 5th. So I'll play them in order and then you can try and pick it up. So that's how the chords go, that's the order and the right timings as well. So she'll play that and then she'll go back and play that again. Then there's this sort of filler that she'll play, which is basically the 2nd frets. You're pulling off the high E to the open, the B 2nd to the open, the G 2nd to the open. Play those, and then normally she goes back to playing the chords again, and then there comes what you could call the chorus, so we'll take a look at that now. you're going back to picking those jazz arpeggios like we were talking about earlier. It's the same pattern, just repeated at different points on the neck, so the positioning is pretty much the same each time. You're starting off barring on the 7th, and then you're hammering on with your little finger onto the 9th and pulling off again. Then you're forming this chord. So with your middle finger on the G string it's the 7th fret, then index finger it's the 6th fret on the B, and then little finger on the 9th fret of the E. You're doing the same around the 5th fret, and then the 3rd. Then you make the D chord shape, you play the D string, and then run down the E, B, G. Play the open A, and then pick the G and the B strings on the 2nd fret at the same time. So that's the chorus. After that she'll either go to this fill again, or she'll move back to the chords. That's it for most of the song, just the chords, the fill, and then that chorus jazz part. But about halfway through the song she adds some distortion, and there's kind of a breakdown, and she uses kind of octaved chords, which I'll run through now. So what actually happens is the fill is played again, but over the top you get Annie's guitar. She's playing the 5th fret on the low E, and then using a tremolo bar to sort of distort it out of tone. That sort of effect. If you haven't got a tremolo arm, then just apply a slight bend to the actual note. To get a fuller sound you can actually bar most of the 5th fret and play the lower strings, or you can play a power chord from the 5th fret. She'll play that several times, and then you'll hear, because the drums go and the whole song kind of gets pushed forwards, and she plays this. And then she'll repeat that several times with some variations. So it's a power chord shape starting on the 2nd fret on the A and the 4th fret on the G, and leaving out the D string. It's called an octaved power chord. And you want to try and mute the D string with either your index finger or rest your middle finger as well. Keeping this shape, you then move up a fret to 3rd and 5th, and then again to 5th and 7th. Then jumping down the same shape onto the 3rd and 5th on the E and D strings. After that you're going to play from the 2nd, 3rd, 5th and 7th, then jump back to the 3rd and 5th. After that you run up again, but instead of going to 7th you go to 9th, then to 7th, then 12th, then 10th, then 9th, then 7th, then 9th again, and then 7th and 9th on the E and D strings. She'll play those 3 kind of adaptations of these octave power chords several times, with some variations and pauses as well. After she's played those 4 times over, she'll then jump back by going So we've covered the introduction, the chords, chorus, fill and the heavier part. After coming out of the heavier part and playing the fill, she'll go back into the chords. Instead of finger picking the chords, she may just pluck the strings. Achieving the same effect in sense of keeping the rhythm. That's pretty much all the parts for the Strangers, and I hope the lessons help.